What does it say about your team that go down like you did, but then show that resilience after the last couple games to come back with 5 unanswered?
Yeah, I mean these are moments with our team. You know, we're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have highs. We're going to have some lows. We've talked about trying to minimize the lows, but you know I think these are important learning moments for our group. Like you know sometimes that happens, and you know it was a weird kind of start in a sense that you know we won the face-off. Next thing you know we're down 1-0. And then a kind of a face-off play, you know, whatever. We make those aren't like that wasn't like a huge mistake, and now it's 2-0, and then you're 3-0, and you're a little bit shell shocked. That's what happens. I thought our guys did a pretty good job of not trying to make it up in one shift, you know, and you got to kind of stay with it. You got to just keep starting to play good hockey. At that point, there's tons of time left. Obviously, a big goal on the power play at the end of the first. Like those are big things, and you just got to, you know, you got to fight to try to score the next goal. And we did that, and we did that, and we did that. And a piece of that was Nider, again, showing some real good mental toughness as a goalie to stay in there. And, you know, you get scored on right away 3 times and just stay in there and make some big saves.
Say about the young guys specifically that you have that, I mean, lots of young guys will try to get the 3 goals back in one shift, but they didn't. What does it say about kind of the mindset of the group that you have?
I think it's part of our growth. You know, I think it's not going to be perfect. This isn't going to be just an ascension right up. It's going to kind of have some ups, have some downs. We've talked lots about trying to take more steps towards greatness than away, and I think our young guys are hopefully, you know, the more they're in these kind of positions, the more you kind of learn from that. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job of it. And so I thought our young players included just kind of realized, like, let's just keep playing hockey here. Let's find a way to keep playing good hockey.
Do you like to see that fire in Connor?
Yeah, to be honest with you, like, I just don't know any great players that aren't hyper competitive. Like he's hyper competitive, and whatever that shows itself different ways, and some, you know, I don't think he's always demonstrative about it, and but you know there are times where you're probably going to be demonstrative, but ultimately the best ones are always hyper competitive, man, and they want to win their shifts, they want to win the game, they want to win at everything they do, and he's certainly got that trait.
Anything, I guess, as the first period, it seemed like there was some structure issues and it snowballed, but is there anything that you needed to get back to in that second period to kind of have it go the other way?
You know, we kind of made a couple, like, I mean, we win the face-off right off the bat, and we rim it in, and then we give up a 3-on-1. Like, it was a little bit of a structure, a little bit of a kind of a misplaced structurally. It was a weird play. It doesn't normally come up the same side. It usually goes back around the other way. It's funny, then they win the face-off in the second and put it in, and we score. You know, like, it's funny how that goes a little bit. I wouldn't say there was, like, one big structure thing. I think once we kind of got down, I thought, we probably spent a little period of time shell-shocked where you know, they were faster than us. They were kind of stripping us of pucks. And so then, but I thought we did a fairly good job of, at least on the bench, of avoiding frustration and just kind of staying with it. And, momentum's a big thing, and so you got to find a way to score, and we did.
Right. You turned around your luck with challenges a little bit. I probably felt pretty confident about that one.
Yeah, I mean, some are black and white, and that one's, generally offsides are black and white unless it's a possession type thing like we had against Ottawa. That one right away we knew it was offside. So we knew, barring some unforeseen kind of craziness, it was going to come back.
Ryan Green seems to be finding his finishing ability. What'd you make of his game today?
Yeah, again, I think I think if you play with Connor, you're going to get opportunities. But two, to his credit, he's really smart about finding spots, and he's usually in the right spot, and he usually is in a position to have get opportunities, and he can shoot a puck, and he's got a legit shot and a legit ability to pass. So I thought probably struggled a little bit in the first, and I thought he really played much better in the second and into the third. So it's a hard thing being on the top line in the NHL in your first year. Like that's a really difficult thing to kind of learn how good you got to be on your game every night. Most people aren't at their best every single minute of their jobs. That's the reality. But learning to do that is important, and I think he's learning.
Just a little bit of the drama in the third period with Mrazek exiting the game. Here's a guy that sort of had his groin all together here in Chicago, but it looks like he tweak something again tonight.
Yeah.
Husso comes in, the only shot he faces is Connor Bedard off a turnover.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough spot for a goalie. I coached Peter a long time, both in the minors and in Detroit. He's a great guy. So I'm hoping he's okay. To be honest with you, I hope it's nothing long term. And then when Husso comes in, that's just a tough spot. It's a tough spot to get put in. Obviously, didn't face a lot because once we scored, then it was kind of they pushed pretty hard there. So. They're a really good team. Obviously, they've got one of the best coaches of all time. They're gonna, it'll be a great challenge here next Sunday. I can't look forward to kind of playing that game too.
There were a couple moments where maybe things got a little stale, and Jason Dickinson had physical play, either with the puck or hitting somebody. What do you think of his game tonight?
I thought his game was good. He's kind of working his way back into kind of the type of game shape after being out for a little bit that you need to be in, and he's just a really reliable player. He's a great pro. Been unbelievably impressed with him as a person from the minute I met him, both as a person, as a player, and as a leader. He's got a great way about him, and I think he's working his game, working his kind of game shape back into that level. Because again, he's out there against good players. Whether for the most part, it was Connor against Carlson, but he's out there against that McTavish line. That's a lot of skill on that line, and I thought he did a really good job.
Do you see them as a possible rival, or do you think that's important to build rivalries as this group comes up?
Well, I think we have a whole bunch of good young players, and they have a whole bunch of good young players. I'd be surprised if a few years from now, they're obviously ahead of it right now in terms of in the standings, but I think that's a team that if we want to climb the mountain in the Western Conference, that's a team that's going to be a team we're going to have to battle for sure. Zero doubt about it. And I think both teams have done a really good job scouting. Both teams have drafted a lot of good players, and I think it's going to be something that not just next Sunday will be a good rivalry game, but down the road for sure.
To kind of build off of what Tab was talking about earlier, it really doesn't seem like this team panics, which is really a testament to you guys. Do you feel that too, especially tonight?
I think we do a pretty good job. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. We've stayed in it pretty good in some tough moments. We've had different tough moments, and I think for the most part we stayed pretty level-headed. And I just think it's an important piece of what we're trying to build here is not have the big emotional highs and lows. You just got to stay with it. And these games are played 60 minutes for a reason. You play 82 for a reason. One game doesn't make a season. One period doesn't make a season. A minute of hockey doesn't make a game. And so let's just kind of grind through it and keep doing it the right way.